Okay, so weekly crypto review, market review. I'm starting on Bitcoin dominance, right? So, okay, this is looking good for Bitcoin dominance on the weekly. We have a stopping candle. Yeah. So let me just change this setting so that I can see the colors of the candles properly. Okay, so on the weekly chart, what we can see is we have a stopping candle here. So, but I would expect us to maybe bounce a little bit slightly higher first. So this thing came right to my line, 62.14. So that's been achieved. Now I think I would expect maybe a small bounce on Bitcoin dominance to maybe about 61.2, 61.1, and then we continue our journey down, which means after this bounce we're going to have, the altcoins are really, really going to run, right? So if we go to 4 hours, for example, I'm going to have a look. So we're having the bounce, right? Um, this is the bounce we're having. I think the bounce probably comes back to about here. Maybe if we're lucky, we get to somewhere here. So I would say probably to there now, based on the 4 hours. And then if all things work out, now let me have a look actually. This is one, that's two, and this is the third level drop on 4 hours. So I think we might have a bit more of a rally. I think, that needs to move up a bit more. I think, yeah. So we might have a bit of a pullback. There'll be a pullback into this. um, before we kind of head out on dominance. So dominance might be going up a little bit, but it won't be significant based on the weekly chart. It won't be significant. It probably just goes up a little bit more. I would probably put it. I won't put it past here. I would say yes on the weekly chart. I'll put it there. So it's looking good. It's looking pretty good. If we close like this, which is very likely that we do by midnight, then we'll have a small bounce. Wherever we close, we're going to have a small bounce and then we collapse. So this is looking good for the altcoins. Let's look at Bitcoin. See what's going on with Bitcoin. So I had a call yesterday with my big brother, and we were talking about, and I was talking about prospects, right? And I was like, okay, Bitcoin will pull back to about here, about 80K, 81K, and then go to 95K. I think I posted that on my X channel. And we are basically we've gone and hit my 95K. We went actually even higher, and now we're coming back down. That's because of the Trump pump. He put out a tweet, and obviously that's got everybody buying. Um, I see this coming back down again, and the reason why I see it coming back down first is normally you get these candles, these wicks, you tend to come back into the wick wherever we close before you actually then continue going to do a new all-time high if you have to. And if we look at it from a 4 hour perspective, um, we can see that obviously we've hit the resistance. And with these big candles, whenever I see them on the chart, I tend to become suspicious of a move to the downside again. So, unless we get another one, unless we get another green candle like this, pump like this, we will come back down again. So, um, I'm being cautious on it. It's good volume and everything else, but we have the same thing here, good volume, and then you just collapse down, right? The normal thing I would expect is to happen is for us to come back here, to come back at the very least and test this point here, um, before we kind of really get going. If this is the true pump, then we need to come and do a retest at some point. So I'm not looking at this as we're going back to the moon anymore. And if we want to go to 12 hours, we're hitting key resistance here. And I think yes, so we rallied into the dead cross, right? The dead cross is taking place, and I'll expect the dump to take place. So, and we have our pink candle here as well. So I expect this to exceed this pink candle. So we've had the rise of the pink candle. Now the dump comes in, and we have a dump first, and then we can get going. So that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin at the moment. I would expect this to come back down and then go back up. So that's Bitcoin. Today I'm motoring very quickly on all these coins. So let's look quickly at tier. Um, and excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold, so it's one of the reasons why I postponed the call a little bit because I wasn't feeling great. So tier, we can see on the 4 hour chart, we've had the normal steps, right? So we've done the normal steps, step one, step two, step three, step four, step five, right? And now we have a stopping candle. So I would expect this to continue to come down. At the very least, I would expect this to, on the Bitcoin BTC pair, expect this to come all the way back up to here before anything happens in terms of going up. We could even come all the way down to this point here. Um, let's look at it on a USD pair. So if we go to the 1 hour chart, we can actually count the steps again, and the steps are very much complete now. We have one step there, two, this is three, this is four, and this is five, and this is like the kind of, I'll say, opportunity for people to take their money. But so at the very least, I would expect us to come back to this point here, at the very least, here, which would be somewhere here, 381, at the very least. That's at the very least. But I think we'll get more than that. We'll get way more than that. I think it will go way more than that. I think we come back to these lows. We come back to these lows here, will be my somewhere here, back to these points here. Um, and then go up because at that point everybody thinks, oh, we are going to go down, 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 and then we go up again. If we look at it on a 12-hour perspective, as I like the 12 hours as well, so we've kind of hit a point inflection. So we've hit here, which is an inflection point, and look, we're coming down. We went all the way to 448, and now we're coming down. So I mean, if you do my brother would say, if you do a fib retracement on this, he likes the fib. If you put a fib from here all the way to just even, let's just do it to this point, 50% of the move is about 365 at the very least. So, if you're being conservative, you'd say, okay, 365 is on the cards in terms of the retrace of the whole move, and then you can continue going up. But I think there's more. I think, there's more, but at 365, I probably will close my short. I'll close my short at 365, or maybe I might close it at 385 just to be on the safe side. And I'll leave a small proportion, a small proportion of the short, maybe 1,000 coins. I might leave 1,000 coins on the short just to make sure my funding is not messed up. So let's look at the rest of the coins, and then after that, I know Giorgio here, we can have a proper chat. So let's look at Pepe quickly. I want to rattle through this very quickly today. So Pepe, you can see on the 12-hour chart, we have a pump. But again, if you go to the weekly chart, it's not the real pump. I, you know, I this this thing is, it's going to definitely come down again. It's going to come down some more. And you look at the monthly chart, right? So we had a big red candle on the month. So of course we can come up. It can even come up all the way up to here, 11. Pippin can come all the way to 11, but it will still come back down below this candle here, below 725. We need to go below 725 to then go up. So that's what I see on Pepe. There will be one more leg to the downside, probably to these levels here, before, or maybe in the middle of this before we go up. But we can get a mini pump up here. This trend line can be retested, so we can retest it and then we continue the journey down first before we go up. So that's Pepe. And then if we go to Solana, because I know there are some Solana boys. So Solana, again, if you look at the monthly chart, we've had this big red candle. And again, with all these big red candles, you have a big push to the upside first before you go down. So, you should expect that. So I would expect this to continue going up. We can go all the way up to like maybe even, I'll say here. Yeah, so here, I would say here because that's a resistance point. We can go all the way up to like 202 and then come back down again. Um, so these pumps are minor pumps. They are not, and this it could last a few days before. But if you go to 4 hours, you can see 4 hours. We've broken the 200, which is good. So 200 has been broken, but we need to confirm. So this is the confirmation, right? So if this doesn't come and break this, then yes, we might go a little bit higher to this point here, which I've kind of marked to that point there. But we need to see what this closes for. Our candle closes like 8 o'clock. If it closes red, then sorry, that's the end of it, and you just continue out your leg down. Um, so that's Solana. Let's look at render. So render is also done, had the pump. So here we go. We've had the pump here. This candle is a bright red green candle. I would expect a little bit more upside, but I also expect a downside before we go any further. So and the weekly chart tells me that we will, even if we're going to go up, then we will still come back into this wick, a little bit into this wick, before we kind of continue our journey. Today being Sunday, I think tomorrow we will dump a little bit first, and then hopefully we go keep going up. Uh, and let's look at Ethereum. So Ethereum was in a very, very bad situation, and it still is. It's not great. It's not a great looking chart at all, because we have a pink candle here, and with these pink candles, we can go up. So I won't be surprised if Ethereum goes up, and I think I'll use the monthly chart to illustrate. We can go all the way back up to, I would say here, which is the line I've drawn, 3,200. We can, and then we come back down because this candle has to be exceeded. The same way this candle here, we've now exceeded it with this candle. This candle will be exceeded, but we can have a good pump first. We can even go even to 3.6. Is possible. But we have to exceed this candle for the move to be really, really genuine. Um, so, and we have a pink candle here, which hasn't been exceeded since what, June 22, and another one here in November 22. So I think ultimately, I think Ethereum will come back to the thousands, the thousand zone. It may take a few weeks, but $1,000 Ethereum and even maybe 900 and I'll say 950 is possible before we actually get a proper move to the upside. So these pumps are just fake pumps at the moment for me. So that's Ethereum. Which other coin did I want to talk about before? Pendle. Pendle is a good one that obviously I would love to trade, but I can't trade because of my tier trade. Um, so monthly chart, this is a rejection candle. So and we've come back into the candle a bit, so which is great. So I think we can go up. Pendle can go up quite a bit actually. It could go up a bit. Let's look at it on a weekly chart. Yeah, so when this candle was formed, I knew we would come back into it, and okay, we didn't get to my line, but we came very close to the body of the candle, which is good. So we can continue going up, and I think it's for Pendle to get all the way up to here, $6. It's possible with this move. If this move stays, it's possible for us to get to $6 before maybe there's a collapse. So it's looking good on this chart. I like this Pendle chart. It's looking good. And I think that is about it in terms of the coins. So I think that's about it. Total three. Let's have a look quickly at others. The others dominance. So the others dominance is done the one drop here. That's the two. That's the three. That's the four. And now we've had this five. So, and what we've done is we've come back into the wick. So if this holds green today, then yes, the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin significantly. And I think it ties in with the fall of Bitcoin dominance as well, because Bitcoin dominance is breaking down. So this will break down what, and this will then go upwards. So the altcoins are looking really good for a pump. After this move is kind of corrected, after a small pullback on this move, I think the altcoins will really run because we've come back to this line as well. We've come back to my trend line, global trend line, all the way there. We've come back to it and we've held it. We've held it quite well. So if today closes green and we close above it, that will be it. I think that would be really good for this altcoins, which fall into the top, those not in the top 10. It's really looking good for them. So I think that's about it in terms of a weekly update. I'm gonna stop this recording now and then stop the